Hey everybody, this is Mystery here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the possible characters that I believe would be great additions to a Danganronpa fighting game. With Team Danganronpa announcing that something big will be coming on November 25th, Trigger Happy Havoc's release date, it's got many Danganronpa fans speculating what it could be. Whether that be a V4, which is highly unlikely, Ultra Despair Girls 2, or even a new V3 anime. But personally, although it's extremely unlikely, I'm hoping for a Super Smash Bros. Styled fighting game, with a small cast of Danganronpa characters that you'd be able to play as. Now, hear me out, okay? I get it. Not everyone's gonna like or agree with this idea, and the chances of this ever happening remain pretty damn slim. But I just really wanted to share my thoughts on this with the rest of the Danganronpa community, and I wanted to see what you guys would think. If you want, maybe leave your own list in the comments down below. Now, it's worth mentioning that before this video gets started, I was inspired to create this video by Mandy, another great Danganronpa YouTuber. His video on this will be linked in the description below. Alright, with all of that out of the way, let's just get straight into the video. So here's what's gonna go down. From each of the three main games, I have picked 4 characters that I believe would fit perfectly into an arsenal of selectable characters. The reason I only picked 4 from each game is just because having every single character from each game would just be way too annoying to deal with, and it would really suck for the developers. So let's start off with the first 4 characters from Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc. For our first fighter, we obviously have to go with my main man, Makoto Naegi. Now, this really shouldn't be a surprise to anybody because, I mean, well, it's freaking Makoto Naegi. Not only is he the main protagonist of the game, but he's also a pretty important character in the Danganronpa universe, being the ultimate hope and such. Due to how small and weak he is, I say he wouldn't be a crazy powerful character, probably relying on some kind of weapon. I'd say he would use a truth bullet gun in the style of a revolver or something like that, where he shoots truth bullets or something like that. Next up, we got Junka. This, again, is kind of an obvious one. She's the main antagonist of the first game, and basically the whole entire series. I'd say she'd be decently strong, as she's pretty damn dangerous, having so much potential to kill all those innocent people, but she's also pretty strong physically. I mean, look at those boots! Next up, we got Sakura. Now, again, I know, pretty obvious, right? She's a fairly popular character who's got some serious muscle. She's basically got the perfect fighting body. She'd be pretty powerful for sure, mostly relying on her incredible arm and leg strength. Next, we got Mondo. Mondo would be pretty much perfect for a fighting game. He's got the looks, the muscle, the epic bold stance, the epic JoJo hair. He looks like he's ready to beat the crap out of someone. Oh, wait. Hang on. Shut up! I reckon Mondo could have some serious potential as a fighter. He could perhaps wield a motorcycle chain and use it at range, and rely on his physical strength at close range combat. Maybe he could even do something crazy like pulling out a motorcycle and ramming into someone. Actually, you know what? Nah, scratch that. We need Hifumi to be a character where he can just roll. Okay, moving on from that, it's time to talk about Super Danganronpa 2. First up, we obviously got the CEO of Orange Juice himself, Hajime Hinata. Again, I know, pretty damn obvious. He's the main protagonist of the game, and on top of that, he's probably one of, if not one of the most important characters in the whole Danganronpa universe, regarding him and the Azuru Kamakura project. I'm not really too sure how he would be played, however, or what kind of abilities he would have. Perhaps he could have some kind of ultimate that transforms him into Azuru for a short amount of time. Next up, we got Gundam Tanaka. I reckon Gundam would be a ton of fun to play. Nothing about him is really that strong, besides the superiority complex, so I thought that he could rely on his hamsters as an ability. Perhaps he could summon them into battle and have them fight alongside him. He could even probably summon other animals as well. It's also worth mentioning that in the opening for the second game, you can see that he's using some kind of dark, like, evil magic or something, so perhaps maybe he could use this as well. Still not totally sure about this one, but I reckon Gundam would be a really fun character to play, and he'd have a pretty interesting playstyle. Next up, we got Peko. Peko would be a pretty fun character to play, being the ultimate swordswoman and such. She would obviously be heavily reliant on her sword. This would be her main weapon that would dish out a pretty hefty amount of damage. She'd also probably be able to quickly dash around the map and dodge attacks pretty well because of how agile she would be. I think her main drawback would probably be having some kind of like swinging cooldown on the sword, because I'm just going to assume that they would make the sword pretty strong. Not too much to say about this one, but I just think having a character with a sword would be pretty sick. And finally, I decided to go with one of the best girls in the entire Danganronpa series, Ibuki Miyoda. Now, I know this is a bit of a weird one. This was a really hard choice, and I know most of you are gonna think, what? Ibuki? Why? You're probably wondering why I didn't go with someone like Nekomaru or something. But hear me out, okay? I didn't want to go with Nekomaru partially because he would be way too similar to Sakura in the terms that, you know, they have pretty similar bodies and they're both pretty damn strong. But also in terms of ability, he's got that massive chain around his neck, and I reckon he would probably use it in a similar way to Mondo. So I just decided, hey, let's go with Ibuki, because she would be one of the most unique characters, I'd say. Because of her being the ultimate musician, I reckon she would fight in a pretty similar fashion to Kyokujiro from My Hero One's Justice. One of her abilities could be pulling out a guitar amp, and strumming a guitar, and strumming a really loud beat that could stun enemies nearby. Or maybe it could just do heaps of damage, in a similar fashion to Kyokujiro. We've also seen in the anime that Ibuki's guitar is a flamethrower for some reason, so I mean, she could also probably use her guitar as a flamethrower. Okay, so with all that out of the way, it's time to start talking about Danganronpa V3. First up, we got Shuichi. Now, look, I know, I decided not to include Shuichi, and the reason for this is pretty simple. Yes, he is the main protagonist of the game, don't get me wrong, but is he necessarily an important character in the Danganronpa universe? Not really. And does he have any outstanding personality traits or any features that he could use as unique abilities? Not really. Sorry, Sucky. Maybe next time. Damn it! Maki seems like a pretty obvious choice to me, so I just wanted to get her out of the way as quick as I could. For one, she's the ultimate assassin, and two, she's a very hostile character who's got a pretty strong fighting spirit. Her main weapon would obviously be some kind of knife or a dagger, but she could also wield other weapons, such as the crossbow that we see in the game, a sword, or even some guns like a little pistol or something. Next up, we got Himiko. I decided to go with Himiko primarily because of her being the ultimate magician. Although she technically can't use real magic, I reckon in this game she should be able to use actual proper magical abilities. Perhaps having different magical abilities or spells that can help her in battle. There's a whole lot you could do on a character that heavily relies on magical abilities. She could even have some kind of crazy ultimate ability that like makes it rain acid or something. Next up, we got Gonta. Now yes, okay, I am aware that I have once again picked another strong character, which is totally backfiring what I said earlier with Nekomaru, but Gonta is different from Nekomaru. Sure, he's also really strong like Sakura and Nekomaru, but Gonta is just such a unique character that he would have a really good moveset that would just totally make up for that. For example, he could have a massive bug net that can inflict serious amounts of damage. He could also summon a swarm of bugs on enemies or a group of enemies. With the large amount of bugs that Gonta is able to control, he could have a really interesting set of moves. Okay, and finally, ending off the video, we have Miyu Iruma. Now, again, it was so annoyingly difficult to make this choice, because so many of the V3 cast would just be perfect for a fighting game. But to me, Miyu really stood out. Because of her being the ultimate inventor, I reckon her moveset would be really unique and would be a lot of fun. She could place down and use a number of different inventions in battle. This could include little turrets around the battlefield, traps and landmines, etc. She could even use her jetpack to reach up and get high ground on enemies, and use this weird claw thingy on her jetpack. I don't know what this is! Well, there you go guys, that was my ideal cast for a Danganronpa fighting game. I'm sorry this video turned out really long, I really didn't expect it to get this long, but nevertheless, I really hope you guys enjoyed. I'm planning on making more Danganronpa related content in the future, so if you're up for that, then stick around and subscribe. If not, that's totally cool, I'm gonna be making more videos that aren't Danganronpa related later. Anyway guys, I really hope you enjoyed my list, and I hope you can respect my opinion and not get angry at me, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out guys.